Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain TXP and today's the 13th of July 2023 and the global cryptocurrency market, guys, has actually gone down because of the CPI numbers. And yesterday the CPI numbers were out via the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and it states that the United States of America's inflation number is definitely less, but it is still high at 3%. Now unfortunately, guys, I was under the impression that the inflation numbers going down would actually mean positive thing for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And to be honest, the price of Bitcoin did actually pump up, but it has gradually gone down. So we'll definitely go out and talk about that. And look, guys, on the 26th of this month, based on the CPI numbers, Jerome Powell will be announcing the interest rate hike. So please make sure you keep a track of those dates as well. Now in today's episode, guys, we are going to be discussing about Binance BNB chain. And there are two things that I'm going to be talking about. The first one is Binance BNB's Beacon chain. They are having a hard fork. Now I'm really curious to find out if the hard fork decision is actually done by the community or if it is done by Binance BNB chain. Definitely something that I'm curious about. And the second thing regarding Binance, guys, is regarding the Binance BUSD's market cap. It has gone well below the $4 billion mark, so we'll definitely briefly touch base on that. And guys, we have some update regarding 10,000 bitcoins, which is actually owned by the US government, and they had actually seized these bitcoin due to illegal activities during Silk Road. So what is going on that 10,000 bitcoins, which is roughly around $300 million? We'll definitely go ahead and talk about that. And guys, listen, since the last month or so, the massive news that is circulating, not just in the Bitcoin world, but also in the finance world, is regarding the Bitcoin Spot ETF. Now, unfortunately, guys, the BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF has some extreme surveillance measures as well. So we'll definitely go and discuss what those surveillance measures are. And unfortunately, guys, if you're someone into privacy, you would definitely not be liking this news. So we'll definitely go ahead and explore what the news is all about. And guys, like we do in every Crypto and Coffee Date podcast, we are going to be discussing two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. And both the news, guys, are regarding events that I'm conducting on the 20th of July. And one event is at 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. That is regarding Metaverse. So we'll be discussing the hype, the reality and new world order. And guys, the second event is one of my favorites. It takes place in the afternoon at 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Gulf Standard Time. And the topic, guys, is called as Pestle Hour Analysis. Now, Pestle Hour Analysis is an acronym for political, economical, social, technological, legal, environmental, and religious. But what I'm going to be doing is on the 20th, I'm going to be doing Pestle Hour Analysis on Bitcoin. And to be honest, guys, in the near future, I'll do Pestle Hour Analysis on Metaverse. I'll do it on stable coins. I'll also do it on DeFi and quite a lot of other. And maybe in the near future, I'll do Pestle Hour Analysis on artificial intelligence as well. So quite a lot to cover, guys, in today's episode. So let's kickstart with it right away. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee Date, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as you kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and Metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee Date has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. We'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us. From the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies, we'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee a Date. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee a Date, and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the Metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee a Day, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the Metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates, and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee at 8 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Shalhoub Group, a luxury retail and distributor which is headquartered in Dubai, are getting into the NFT game. And here's the deal, guys. They are not just getting into the NFT and metaverse space, they are going to be shaping the NFT, metaverse and Web 3.0 space, which I believe is excellent not just for Dubai and UAE, but also for the global cryptocurrency community as well. And guys, Shalhoub Group's Web 3.0 sneaker brand called Soulmates revealed their first NFT collection on the 12th of April. Now what is really interesting is that it's called as Soulmates, so it's spelled as S for sugar, O for orange, L for Larry. Now instead of E, they have replaced it with Web3 and it is the number 3, mates.xyz. And guys, listen, Shalhoub Group has over half a century's worth of experience in luxury goods, and them getting into the NFT space is a massive deal. Now if you're a sneakerhead, you definitely need to check out soulmates.xyz. And once again, guys, the number is 3 instead of an E. It has all the information, and in the show notes below, you'll get all the information. And listen, guys, if you want to be an early adopter, you can also pre-mint it at www.premint.xyz/soulmates. So definitely check it out. And they have a Discord community as well. And guys, Nick, who is the head of corporate innovation at Shalhoub Group and also the co-founder of Soulmates, has a WhatsApp group where he constantly provides updates in the area of NFTs, Metaverse and Web 3.0. So guys, check out soulmates.xyz and be part of the Soulmates OG NFT that is definitely going to shape the industry. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, guys, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now, unfortunately, guys, ever the CPI numbers were out, 3 to 4 hours after that, the global cryptocurrency market was on a decline, and as of today, it is at $1.18 trillion. Now, mind you, guys, the inflation numbers are definitely not bad, but definitely not good either. But the inflation in US is definitely slowing down. And because of this news, I was actually hoping that the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies would actually cross the $1.25 trillion mark. But once again, guys, I'm proven wrong, and price predictions are always 100% right 50% of the time. Now, because of this news, the global cryptocurrency market is down by 1.11%. Now, here's the interesting bit, guys. The total cryptocurrency market volume of the last 24 hours has actually gone up to 17.27%, and it is currently at $30.91 billion. So essentially, guys, if the prices are going down and if the total cryptocurrency market is going up, it actually means that people are actually selling their cryptocurrencies. And that is precisely what has happened to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we'll definitely go ahead and look at that in detail as well. Now, the volume on DeFi is not looking good at all. It is well below the $2 billion mark, and it is at $1.92 billion. And DeFi, guys, as of today, accounts for only 6.73% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Again, absolutely horrific numbers. And the total value logged, guys, is only at $44.16 billion, with Lido still dominating at $14.52 billion. Now, so far as decentralized exchange is concerned, one metric which I'm liking is the decentralized exchange to centralized exchange dominance that has marginally pumped up since the last 24 hours, and it is right now at 12.8%. And mind you, guys, yesterday we talked about massive Bitcoin exodus going back to 2020, and hopefully that trend continues. And I'm really curious to see when decentralized exchange dominance is roughly around the 40% mark. When will that thing happen? I really am not sure. But once we reach the 40% mark, that must give us an idea, an indication that common people are using decentralized exchanges and DeFi protocols as well. Now let's quickly look at the 24-hour volume of DeFi protocols, and Uniswap, guys, is clearly an outlier, and the 24-hour trading volume is $869.93 million. PancakeSwap is number second at $208.53 million, followed by Curve Finance at $169.33 million, Maverick Protocol at $86.9 million, and finally, guys, Dodo at $77.9 million. Now let's look at the volume of stablecoins. Now here's the thing, guys. The volume of stablecoins has increased, so looks like when people are selling their bitcoins, they're actually converting it to stablecoins, and the volume since the last 24 hours is definitely bumped up to $27.96 billion. Now mind you, guys, this number is still ridiculously low, because going back to 2020 and 2021, on an average given day, the volume of stablecoins used to be somewhere between the $60 to $100 billion mark. $27.96 billion is still ridiculously low, but since the last week or so, it is definitely much better. Now, unfortunately, guys, stablecoins still account for 90.45% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. So essentially what has happened is ever since the CPI numbers were out, looks like people are selling their Bitcoin, and gradually they're going ahead and buying Tether USDT, because Tether USDT's volume has pumped up the most. It is at $20.17 billion. And guys, if you look at Tether USDT's market cap, it is at $83.38 billion. Now just think of it, guys, similar to a bank run. If let's say there were to be a similar run on stablecoin issuers, do you think Bitfinex or Tether, the issues of USDT, does actually have $83.38 billion? I definitely don't think so. And look at the difference, guys. The market cap is $83.38 billion, but its 24-hour volume is only $20.17 billion. Definitely some shady stuff. The second protocol, so far as the market cap is concerned in stablecoins, is Circle USDC, and its market cap is $27.25 billion. But if you look at the 24-hour volume, it is only at $2.96 billion. Now, the number third, guys, is DAI Protocol, which is connected to MakerDAO, and its market cap is $4.29 billion. But in today's episode, let's very briefly look at Binance BUSD's market cap, because it is down to $3.90 billion. And guys, if you look at its 24-hour volume, it is at $1.92 billion. Now listen, guys, I'm really curious to see what is going to happen so far as Binance BUSD is concerned, because going back to September of last year, Binance BUSD's market cap was kind of competing with Tether USDT. It wasn't as close to Tether USDT's volume, but it was definitely getting there. On certain days, it was definitely more than double of Circle USDC's volume, but because of SEC aggressively going after Binance, the volume of Binance BUSD has gone down, and more importantly, its market cap has gone down as well. Now imagine what would happen if the SEC were to go after Tether USDT. I'm hoping that thing does not happen, because to be honest, guys, that would be absolutely catastrophic. Now, guys, let's look at the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum, because Bitcoin's market cap is at $590 billion, and Ethereum's market cap is $225 billion. The 24-hour trading volume, guys, as I mentioned earlier, has marginally gone up despite the price of dollars. The dominance of Bitcoin, guys, is at 49.90%, whereas Ethereum is 19.01%. Now, on today's episode, guys, let's very briefly run through decentralized exchanges market cap, and later on what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to give out some basic level information on one of people's favorite protocol, that is Avalanche, because the price right now is $13.20, and there are a lot of hype and talks regarding Avalanche, so we'll definitely dollars. The second one is Curve Finance at $679 million, but listen to this, guys. If you look at Curve Finance's market cap, it is $679 million, and if you look at its 24-hour volume, it is at $169.33 million, so definitely interesting stuff. Now, the third protocol, guys, so far as decentralized exchange is concerned, is DYDX, and its market cap is $314 million. Now, guys, let's discuss a protocol called as Avalanche, and the ticker symbol, guys, is AVAX, and the price is $13.21. And guys, if you do want to find out any information regarding Avalanche, the website is www.avalabs.org or avax.network. Now, let me very briefly run through what Avalanche is, and guys, I very specifically remember during 2017 or 2018, Jackson Palmer, one of the founders of Dogecoin, he used to talk about Avalanche protocol, and it's known as Ethereum's rival, aiming to unseat Ethereum as the most popular blockchain for smart contracts, and it aims to do so like how other similar protocols try to do by capturing higher transaction output or transaction per second. Now, so far as Avalanche is concerned, guys, they promise 6,500 transactions per second while not compromising on scalability, and this, guys, is made possible by Avalanche's unique architecture, and the Avalanche network consists of 3 individual blockchains, that is the X chain, C chain, and P chain, and mind you, guys, each chain has a distinctive purpose, which is radically different from the approach Bitcoin or Ethereum uses. So essentially launched in 2020, guys, Avalanche has worked on developing its own ecosystem of decentralized apps and DeFi as well, and different Ethereum projects such as SushiSwap and TrueUSD have integrated with Avalanche. Furthermore, guys, the platform is consistently working on improving interoperability between its own ecosystem and Ethereum, like the development of bridges. Now, let me very briefly run through what the different chains are. And once again, guys, I won't go into details of it, just basic level information. Now, so far as exchange chain is concerned, or Exchange, it is used to send and receive funds on the Avalanche network, which is the exchange's only function. Additionally, guys, transaction fees are fixed at 0.01 AVX. An exchange, guys, uses directed acyclic graph, something called as DAG technology, something similar to what Hedera Hashgraph uses. And the second one, guys, is called as platform chain or P chain, and it is used for staking AVAX and facilitating validator activities, so users can become a validator or default to want to collect the AVAX rewards on the P chain. And finally, guys, contract chain or C chain. Avalanche's chain for decentralized finance as a chain used for smart contract and DeFi applications, and most of Avalanche's decentralized apps are housed here and compatible with MetaMask as well. Now, these 3 network, guys, are secured and validated by the primary network, a special subnet, and all custom subnet needs to be validated on the primary network by staking at least 2,000 AVAX. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information, definitely go ahead and check the website. Now let me very briefly run through who the founders of Avalanche are. Now, Avalanche, guys, was launched by Ava Labs, which is founded by Cornell University professor Emin Corsair and Cornell University computer scientist Kevin Shekney and Morfan Tedyin, and Gonir Sear, who's a veteran in cryptography research, having designed a conceptual peer-to-peer virtual currency 6 years before the release of Bitcoin white paper. And guys, to be honest, he was also involved in working on Bitcoin scaling solutions and research on Ethereum before the famous DAO hack in 2016. Now, from that research paper arose the white paper that actually led to the foundation of Ava Labs in 2018. And guys, the project closed a seed round in February 2019 that included investors such as Polychain, Andreessen Horowitz, and Balaji Srinivasan. And Avalanche closed its initial offerings in 2020 in under 24 hours, and it raised $42 million in the process. So definitely an interesting project. So once again, guys, if you do want to find out more information, the website is avax.network or avalabs.org. Now, guys, let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin, because the price of Bitcoin, guys, did actually bump up, but it has gradually gone down, and as of now, it is $30,399, and since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.05%, and since the last 7 days, guys, it is down by 1.41%. Ethereum, guys, is at $1,872, so Since the last 24 hours, it is down by 0.83%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 2.81%. Now, one of my biggest concerns, guys, is the price of Binance BNB coin, because it is relatively consistent, and as of now, it is $245. And since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.49%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 1.59%. Now, one reason why I'm a bit concerned about the price of Binance BNB coin, because it is relatively consistent and it kind of moves in the same direction on the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum, irrespective of the drama that is going on in and around Binance. And that, to be honest, does not seem right. And to be honest, guys, what they did actually mention via Twitter that they're having a big hard fork, and I'm a bit surprised. And I do actually want to question, maybe do some more research, actually, who has decided to go out and do this hard fork. Because listen, guys, whenever there is a hard fork, it is ideally chosen by the community. But nonetheless, let me give out information on why they are doing the hard fork, because the Binance BNB beacon chain mainnet is expected to have a scheduled hard fork upgrade at block height number 328,088,888. And guys, the hard fork is called as Zhang Hang, and I'm pretty much sure there's some significance to the naming as well. So what I'd recommend you to do is read through the blog, because they do give some information on why they have chosen that name as well. But the big question is, guys, who has decided the hard fork? And to be honest, this is an area that the US Security and Exchange Commission will aggressively be looking after, because if there is a centralized entity making that decision, clearly it looks like a security and the protocol is not distributed or decentralized. Now, based on my understanding, looks like it is a central entity or Binance that has got and made the decision to do a hard fork. Because guys, listen, in 2016, in order to do a hard fork in Bitcoin, it took months and months of negotiations, a lot of virtual fights, and to be honest, there were also possibilities of physical fights as well, because the community wanted to go out and split it. But looks like in this case, the decision is made quite easily. Now, I'm just going to give out basic information on what will the hard fork feature. Because to be honest, there are going to be two changes that is going to happen in Binance BNB chain after the hard fork. Now, the first one is got to do with BEP255, and the second one is bug fix. Now, let me very briefly run through what BEP255 is, because this BEP proposes implementing an on-chain asset reconciliation on BNB beacon chain to improve security, and user balance changes are tracked in each block and will be reconciled to identify issues. When there are reconciliation error, guys, the blockchain will panic and stop producing new blocks. So this is one of the update that is going to happen on Binance beacon chain. And the second one, guys, is the bug fix. So a security issue called row key attack could harm the correctness of the fast finality mechanism. So in order to get more understanding to this, guys, you need to look at the BLS multi-signature with public-private key as well. But to fix this bug, all existing vote addresses will be cleared out when the height of hard fork is reached, and validators, guys, need to add vote addresses again. So if you're one of the validators, definitely go ahead and read through the blog. Now, Binance has actually said, guys, the action will impact downstream services such as bridges, deposits, and withdrawals on exchanges, but the drastic action is necessary to protect the chain and its users. But my big question is, guys, who has actually gone ahead and made this decision? Because clearly looks like it is a centralized decision, and this, to be honest, is absolutely not ideal. Now, guys, let's discuss some news regarding the US government, because the news is that the US government has moved nearly 10,000 Bitcoin, which is worth approximately $300 million. And these $300 million or 10,000 Bitcoin are related to the Silk Road seizure. So let me very briefly run through what this news is all about, because according to a report by Cointelegraph, the US Department of Justice recently transferred 9,825.25 Bitcoin, equivalent to approximately $299 million worth of Bitcoin, from a cryptocurrency wallet. And the transaction, guys, occurred on 12th of July and resulted in the distribution of the Bitcoin to at least 101 new wallets. Now, the purpose of these transactions, guys, is unclear. It is uncertain whether the Bitcoin was sent to exchange platforms for potential sale, or if it remains under the custody of Justice Department. And this, guys, is the power of open blockchain. And this is the reason why a lot of the current politicians do not want to advocate Bitcoin. But if a government does actually advocate Bitcoin, all the transactions are completely open source. Now, mind you, guys, the US government previously revealed that it does have plans to offload the rest of its Bitcoin from Silk Road seizures over the course of 4 batch transactions throughout the remainder of the calendar year. So essentially, guys, in a nutshell, this 9,825.25 Bitcoins is now sent across 101 new wallets. Now, I'm not sure at this point of time if the wallets is controlled by one public address or if they are separate wallets. So definitely powerful stuff. And this, guys, is the power of open blockchain technology. Now, guys, let's discuss some news regarding BlackRock's Bitcoin Spot ETF. And according to an article by CoinDesk, BlackRock's application for Bitcoin ETF introduces a heightened level of surveillance. It includes an information sharing agreement that goes beyond what is typically seen in public filings for Bitcoin ETFs. And this agreement, guys, requires a cryptocurrency exchange to share trading data, including personal information such as customers' name and address, and by doing so, it aims to provide regulators with more comprehensive insights into the market. Now, to be honest, guys, I don't deal with ETFs, so really I'm not sure if this is a common practice, let's say for different ETFs. But so far as cryptocurrency is concerned or Bitcoin is concerned, this definitely does not seem right. Now, mind you guys, BlackRock is a major financial firm and wants to create a Bitcoin investment fund called as ETF in the United States. And the reason why they want to do that is because they want to increase the chances of approval. And here's the interesting bit, guys. To increase the chances of approval, they included a mechanism in the application that allows suspicious trades to be reported to authorities. And this sparked other companies to file similar applications as well, also including a provision for sharing surveillance information. However, guys, what will likely impact the decision of the US Security and Exchange Commission is a different type of agreement, and this agreement allows regulators to request additional information from the exchange, giving them more control. And in the case of Bitcoin Spot ETF, this means that regulators such as SEC can ask for specific details about trades or traders, including personal information like their names and addresses. And it's important to note, guys, that these requests must be specific and not overly broad as well. And the information sharing approach is different from surveillance sharing mechanism used by Coinbase, which, as we know, is having some drama with SEC as well. And today, guys, they're also having a pre-notion hearing as well. Now, going back to the news regarding BlackRock Spot ETF, the surveillance sharing does actually involve Coinbase reporting suspicious activities to regulators, ETF providers, and listing exchanges. On the other hand, guys, information sharing agreement enables regulators and ETF providers to actively retrieve data from the exchange when needed. And this development, guys, highlights the challenge of finding a balance between regulatory oversight and privacy concerns of cryptocurrency traders. And guys, as we know, cryptocurrency traders prefer to keep their trading information private, so sharing it goes against the nature of cryptocurrency and the cryptocurrency world as well. However, for ETF to be successful, firms like BlackRock must comply with information sharing requirements. So guys, listen, it's going to be really critical to see what the update of this is, because this news would actually determine if BlackRock Spot ETF is approved or not. So definitely important stuff. Now, guys, let's discuss two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now, both the events, guys, today is regarding an event that I'm conducting on the 20th of July. Now, the first event, guys, is on the 20th of July, and it is called as Metaverse, the Hype Reality and New World Order. So let me very briefly run through what is it that you can expect in these sessions. Now, mind you, guys, these sessions are completely free of cost, and in order to register, go to eventbrite.com or look at the show notes below, and the session is completely free of cost. Now, the whole idea of doing this session, guys, is to educate the people on Metaverse. So we're going to be discussing the hype surrounding Metaverse. So we'll try to understand what the hell is Metaverse and what is its impact, and we'll look at the institutions and companies joining on board. We will also look at reality versus expectations, the hardware and software limitation. And guys, I very specifically remember the very first episode that I released on Metaverse Everything. I did talk about the importance of hardware and nanochips in semiconductors, and at that point of time, Nvidia was one of the top companies. And fast forward to that news, Nvidia is on the verge of becoming a $1 trillion company. So we'll definitely go to look at the hardware and software possibilities and limitations as well. We'll also look at the real life use cases of Metaverse. And guys, listen, the new world order is definitely kicking in. And in the Metaverse, will the US have a competitive advantage, or will it be the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, or will it be Turkey or any other countries? And what is it that countries can do in order to be an early adopter in the Metaverse? So essentially, guys, the session that takes place on the 20th of July is broken down into three parts. In part A, we'll look at the history of Metaverse, what is Metaverse, and we'll also discuss the hype surrounding Metaverse, and we'll also look at the different time horizons of Metaverse. To be honest, guys, I do think that Metaverse is at least 8 to 10 years away, and we'll go ahead and discuss what are the challenges during that course as well. And one thing which I mentioned earlier regarding hardware and software, that will be covered in part B as well. Now in part B, guys, which is one of my favorite area, is where we'll be looking at how Metaverse merges with the physical world. We'll also look at news and events surrounding Metaverse in Dubai. And finally, guys, we'll go ahead and discuss if blockchain technology is a perfect fit in the Metaverse. Now look guys, I'm a massive advocate of cryptocurrencies, in particular Bitcoin and blockchain technology. However, at this point of time, I don't think blockchain technology merges with metaverse. Would it be better for a centralized entity to go ahead and manage metaverse? Because one thing which I often say is, when you talk about metaverse guys, the user experience has to be 10 times better. And unfortunately guys, blockchain technology, the user experience is absolutely horrendous. If you look at, let's say, Decentraland or Sandbox, and then if you were to compare it with, let's say, what Apple is planning to launch next year, the comparison is not even there. So centralized metaverse, I personally think, will actually be much better. But could this change over time? That is something that we'll be discussing. So we'll be discussing the limitations of metaverse. We'll also take a deep dive on the role of NFTs in metaverse, in artificial intelligence enabled metaverse. And listen guys, one of the biggest game changer would be, let's say, if you have ChatGPT or GPT-4 or AutoGPT connected, let's say, to an avatar in the form of an NFT, that will be an absolutely game changer in the metaverse. So we'll definitely go ahead and talk about that as well. And guys, in part C, we would look at Dubai Metaverse strategy. And guys, listen, I do have a standalone episode on Dubai Metaverse strategy, so please feel free to go ahead and check it out. We'll also go ahead and look at the leading governing body in Dubai that is actually going and managing the Dubai Metaverse strategy. And one of the visions, guys, of Sheikh Hamdan is for Dubai to be the top 10 city in the world so far as metaverse is concerned. So we'll definitely go ahead and look at that. And because of that, guys, they also have Dubai Metaverse Assembly. So we'll definitely go ahead and explore what the Dubai Metaverse Assembly is and what are the next steps of actions. And there are quite a lot of networking and events that are taking place in Dubai. So we'll go ahead and discuss that as well. And once again, guys, the session is completely free of cost. Please feel free to sign up via eventbrite.com, or you can also drop me an email to info@blockchaindxp.com. Now guys, let's discuss the second news, and that is another event that takes place on the 20th of July from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Gulf Standard Time, and it is called a special hour analysis on Bitcoin. And guys, as I mentioned earlier, special hour analysis stands for political, economical, social, technological, legal, environmental, and religious analysis on Bitcoin. And guys, listen, you can do special hour analysis on pretty much everything, and if you've done your MBA or your Masters, I'm pretty much sure you know what special hour analysis stands for, because essentially, guys, it is a tool used to gain a macro level picture of an industry or an environment. So on the session that takes place on the 20th of July, we look at elements of Bitcoin at a macro level to better understand its impact, and we'll go ahead and discuss each area in detail. So when it comes to politics, we'll answer this basic question: is Bitcoin apolitical? And mind you guys, Bitcoin was created as a movement towards separation of money and the state. Now when will this separation happen, guys? To be honest, I really am not sure. Because to be honest, guys, politics and politicians definitely have a very strong say in the trajectory and direction of Bitcoin. And one thing which I mentioned several times, guys, right-wing politicians and right-wing ideologies are definitely in favor of Bitcoin, are definitely in favor of open source and freedom of speech as well. But the current administration in US, or the left-wing administration, is definitely not in favor of Bitcoin, definitely not in favor of open source, and definitely not in favor of freedom of speech as well. So we'll definitely go ahead and look at the political implications, not just in US, but also in UK and other parts of the world as well. Now, so far as economical factors is concerned, we'll answer this basic question: is Bitcoin the biggest global wealth redistribution? Unfortunately, guys, over 90% of Bitcoin supply is already in the hands of multimillionaires, billionaires, celebrities, and influencers. So is Bitcoin the biggest global wealth redistribution? And can Bitcoin change the dynamics of money? So we would look at inflation, we will look at exchange rates, and quite a lot more. And regarding social factors, guys, we will look at the social impact of Bitcoin and blockchains for generations to come. And we'll also look at Bitcoin's usage in first world countries and underdeveloped countries. Because look, guys, ever since its inception, there are so many multimillionaires, and unfortunately, a lot of them are from first world countries. So we'll definitely go and look at that. And we'll also look at our millennials, the one who are using Bitcoin, or if it is boomers. And to be honest, guys, the answer would be surprising. Now, regarding technological factors are concerned, we will look at the different types of Bitcoin. And as you know, guys, there are several different forks of Bitcoin. And one of the biggest technical updates that did actually take place in Bitcoin was Taproot and Snore Signature, because of which, guys, we have Bitcoin ordinal inscriptions and quite a lot of other. So we'll definitely go ahead and discuss that in detail. But at the same time, I won't go too technical as well. We'll also look at economies of scale for setting up mining operations. And regarding legal factors are concerned, guys, we'll answer this basic question: is Bitcoin legal? Where does governance, regulations, and legislations fit in? And what is it that governments can do in order to pose a threat to Bitcoin, or maybe even support innovation on Bitcoin and its adoption? And regarding environmental factors, guys, there's so much of hype regarding ESG right now. So we'll go ahead and discuss Bitcoin's mining energy consumption. We will look at the past, the current, and the future state of environmental projects and its impact on Bitcoin mining and vice versa. And finally, guys, regarding religious factors in Bitcoin, because we are in the Middle East, we'll go ahead and look at, is Bitcoin Sharia compliant? What are the religious factors and commonalities in Bitcoin, and how is Bitcoin in particularly seen in the Middle East, and quite a lot more. So definitely quite useful information, and guys, will give us a macro level snapshot on Bitcoin and its implication. And the session, guys, is completely free of cost. You do not require absolutely any technical expertise. And guys, the registration link for both the events is in the show notes below. Alternatively, you can also go to eventbrite.com and just search for blockchaindxb.com and just search for blockchaindxb. Or guys, you can also drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. So that's about all, guys, from Crypto and Coffee Date from blockchaindxb. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and guys, also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So let's get started with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. I have a question by Kathy who asks, are there any macro level factors for the year end that could significantly impact the price of cryptocurrencies? Now, to be honest, Kathy, in the cryptocurrency world, macro level factors tend to keep popping up out of nowhere. I wouldn't be surprised, let's say, if they find out that there's some project which has gone completely belly up. That could trigger another macro level factor. But so far as things not related to cryptocurrencies, one of the biggest events that I can think of is on the 26th of July, and that is when Jerome Powell will be announcing the interest rate hike, and he's going to be taking out the data that was just announced yesterday on the 12th of July in US, and that is the CPI numbers. Now the CPI numbers, Kathy, will definitely play a significant role so far as macro level factors in determining the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So what I'd really recommend you to do is, Kathy, and also to our listeners, go to the website bls.gov, and that does actually give you a calendar and the specific date and the time when the CPI numbers will be out, and based on that the interest rate is determined as well. So at macro level factors, those are the areas. But other than that, I think there are a couple of geopolitical situations and the elections that are going to kick in next year. So I'm pretty much sure there's going to be some drama both from the Republican side and Democratic side, and that news can directly or indirectly significantly impact not just the user adoption of cryptocurrencies, but also the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But around that, I do feel that news surrounding Bitcoin spot ETF could also be considered as a macro level factor too, because what's going to happen is, depending on the date of the application, SEC has different days by when they need to go out and respond, and I do believe the maximum time period is 240 days from the day the initial application was done. So by that time, we will find out if the Bitcoin spot ETF is approved or not. And I do feel that that is kind of like a macro level factor, considering the fact that, you have BlackRock, which is kind of associated with left-leaning politicians. So that will definitely have a significant role in the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies by the end of this year. But other than that, I'm hoping that we do not find out any geopolitical chaos that will actually trigger some significant movement, either in a positive way or in a negative way, for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So that's about all, guys, on the Ask Me Anything series from Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember, guys, Monday to Thursdays 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee Date, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And how the series of episodes in the Crypto and Coffee Date works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye bye.